They are revolutionaries. They are trying to change society. I mean, again, I think Max mentioned before, you know, they are patriots. These people are not trying to destroy their country. They're trying to make it better. And, you know, people say, how can Nadia sacrifice contact with her child for a cause that she believes in? Well, she's trying to make the world a better place for her child, really. That is ultimately what she's trying to do. And so...
yeah, and for us, you know, that's kind of an important point, is that I think especially the early reports on this story really made them out to be kind of martyrs, which they're not. They're very aware of what they're doing, of the risks that they're taking. And you know, and one of the things is that it's also important is that vulgarity is part of what their approach is. And they're very open about that, you know, as performance artists, that's what they use. That's how they
walks into the courtroom every single time looking like, as you said, Angelina Jolie, but even smarter, you know, I mean, not that Angelina's not intelligent, but no, she's just whip smart, you know, and hot, super hot. And so there is this, like, you know, inherent sexuality to these girls, and she knows it and she plays it. And at the same time, they put on these balaclavas and they're dancing around and they're kind of removing their sexuality in a way. So it's an interesting duality.
Speaks to a larger issue of a general response in Russia to this case, where, you know, a majority of people were against them and felt that they got what they deserved. So there was this sense that, yeah, there should be a public spanking of these people, and that we're going to broadcast it and show it. And there are television shows that you see in the film that show how they were vilified to a large extent. And one of the purposes for making the film was to show, especially Russian audiences, that, you know, that these women are real patriots and they're very nice people and they are idealistic and are acting on behalf, they're interested in the future of their country and doing all those things.
What's going on with them now?
Well, Katya was released on appeal in October, and Masha and Nadia are still in their various labor camps.
The two moms.
The two moms, yeah. And in fact, Masha last week went on a hunger strike in protest against certain conditions, so it's pretty tough. I mean, you know, they're separated from they've got 5-year-old kids, 1 boy, 1 girl.
Yeah.
And they're continuing their legal battle, so they're filing various appeals with their lawyers as well for early release, and none of them have been successful thus far.
Yeah.
Well, in watching the film, you know, their attitude, even in the courtroom, you know, they don't compromise. And so I imagine they're not compromising in prison, and they're not falling into the docile sort of, I'm sorry, please forgive me position that probably would speed their release.
That's right, and Nadia got into trouble recently because she refused to take part in the prison beauty pageant, which she obviously could have won quite easily. Yeah, it's things like that. I mean, they are being, you know, they're still being harassed ultimately, and as you say, they are absolutely irrepressible. I mean, you see this in the trial. They dominate the proceedings. They control the whole court. They're the ones ultimately in control, and use the court really as a form of performance themselves.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
yeah, and you know, for us, I think that dramatically, in terms of telling the story, that's almost the most interesting thing, is that, you know, they didn't necessarily mean to offend people, but for them, the big challenge, the big dramatic challenge as characters is to hold fast to their beliefs and to their opinions, and to the fact that even if they didn't mean to offend people necessarily, they do believe in their right to do this, to what they did, their belief in this kind of art, that it has validity, that it should be allowed, that it's not something, that it's not a criminal offense. And so walking that line between getting their message across and then also saying that, no, this is not what we meant, this shouldn't be classified as a hate crime, which is what it was.
Riot. Бунт, погром, восстание.